She wed a human to end the war, then saw his soul burn like a star. HFY. Princess Sailira stood alone on the highest balcony of the Dominion capital, watching distant ships drift like wounded beasts. She was not a warrior, she was not a general, yet today the future of the galaxy rested on her choice. Behind her the High Council waited. Peace is no longer optional, the Grand Matron said. The humans refuse surrender. We cannot break them. And if this war continues, neither side will survive. You will wed a human, the matron said. He will be Earth's chosen representative. Through you, the war will end. They were known for stubbornness, emotional outbursts, and reckless courage. Dangerous in chaos, weak in order. She had expected many things in her life. A human husband was not one of them. I accept, Sailira said. The council exhaled as one. The ceremony was arranged quickly. No celebration, no music, just necessity. The human envoy arrived 3 days later. Sailira watched from the royal platform as his ship entered the capital hangar. It was unadorned, scarred from battle, its hull patched instead of polished, a warship pretending to be peaceful. When the hatch opened, she saw him, Commander Elias Ward. He wore a simple dark uniform with no medals displayed. His hair was short, his posture straight but not stiff. His eyes scanned the hangar calmly, taking in Dominion guards, weapons, and watchful officials without fear or arrogance. He bowed when he saw her, not deeply, not submissively, just enough to show respect. Sailira found that unsettling. Most envoys begged, others postured. This human did neither. They spoke only what was required, vows translated into neutral language. Ancient words stripped of romance and faith, reduced to law and consequence. When the binding was complete, the war officially paused for the first time in years. Cheers did not follow. Suspicion did. That same day, they departed for a neutral system where final peace terms would be signed. Sailira boarded the joint convoy with her new husband walking beside her, close enough that she could feel the heat of his body through her ceremonial armor. Humans ran warmer than Dominion physiology expected. She had read that in briefings. "What do you feel about this union?" she asked quietly as they walked. Elias did not answer immediately. "I feel responsible," he said at last. That was not what she expected. "For ending the war?" she asked. "For keeping it ended," he replied. The convoy traveled in silence. Alien and human ships flying together, uneasy allies bound by fragile trust. Sailira watched Elias during the journey. He spoke gently to his crew. He listened more than he commanded. When a Dominion guard collapsed from exhaustion, Elias helped carry her to medical without hesitation. That unsettled her even more. Humans were not supposed to care so freely. During a private meal, she studied him openly. "You do not fear us," she said. "I respect you," Elias replied. "Fear makes people stupid." "And you stand beside one who lost people to yours," he said calmly. "We can either count ghosts or make sure no more are created." The first blast crippled the lead escort ship. Alarms screamed through the convoy. Energy fire lit space like broken stars. Dominion guards rushed to defensive positions as boarding vessels latched onto Sailira's transport. The ship shook. Sailira drew her sidearm, heart racing. She had trained for battle, but never like this. Never with the fate of 2 civilizations tied to her survival. The doors exploded inward. Armed attackers poured through, their armor marked with Old War symbols. Chaos filled the corridor. Dominion guards fought back, but the attackers were prepared, too prepared. A shock blast knocked Sailira off her feet. Before she could rise, a shadow moved in front of her. Elias. He had no weapon in his hands. "Stay behind me," he said. "That is foolish," she snapped. "You are unarmed." Every movement was precise, controlled, almost gentle in its efficiency. He shielded Sailira with his body, taking a glancing hit that scorched his shoulder. He did not cry out. Sensors embedded in the ship began to spike. Energy readings surged around him, faint at first, then growing. Dominion systems struggled to classify it. It was not weapon discharge, not shield output. It was coming from him. Sailira saw it in his eyes, not anger, resolve. He fought until the attackers retreated, dragging their wounded away in panic. When the corridor fell silent, Elias finally staggered. Celira caught him before he fell. Human blood stained her armor. For a moment she forgot politics, forgot war, forgot duty. She held him. Medical teams rushed in. As they treated him, Dominion technicians whispered in fear. The energy readings had not faded immediately. They lingered like heat after a star flare. "What was that?" Celira demanded. Elias smiled faintly, exhausted. "Just a human refusing to let things end badly," he said. As he was carried away, Celira stared at her blood-stained hands. She had wed a human to end a war. And for the first time, she wondered if the galaxy truly understood what humans carried inside them. The stars outside the viewport seemed dimmer now, as if something brighter had just begun to wake. The medical bay was silent except for the steady hum of machines. Princess Celira stood near the observation glass, her hands clasped behind her back, watching as human and Dominion medics worked together over Elias Ward's unmoving form. His shoulder wound was already sealed, yet the machines around him continued to glow with unfamiliar readings. The energy had not vanished. It pulsed softly, like a distant heartbeat. "What are they seeing?" Celira asked. A Dominion physician hesitated before answering. "Commander Ward's body is stable, but his neural activity remains elevated, higher than normal human limits." This was something awakening. Hours later, Elias opened his eyes. Celira was seated beside him when it happened. His gaze focused slowly, then sharpened as awareness returned. "You're safe," she said before he could speak. "The attackers fled." When Dominion officials arrived, the atmosphere changed. Armed guards took positions along the walls. The High Science Overseer stepped forward, her expression carefully neutral. "Commander Ward," the Overseer said, "you displayed an unknown energy response during the attack. For the safety of the peace process. You don't understand how my people react to fear." He answered questions simply. When asked about the energy surge, he did not pretend ignorance. "It happens when a human reaches a point where giving up is no longer an option," he explained. "Most never reach it. Some do, once in their lives." Dominion society valued control above all else. Power without clear limits frightened them. Later, alone with Celira, Elias finally showed fatigue. "They think I'm a weapon now," he said. "They think you are unpredictable," she corrected. He smiled faintly. "Same thing usually. We just know it exists. We call it resolve or purpose, or sometimes stubborn refusal to die." Elias standing unarmed, the surge of energy, the calm in his eyes. She realized something uncomfortable. He had not fought to win. He had fought so no one else would have to. The following day, Dominion intelligence presented their findings to the High Council. Celira was summoned. "Humans are unstable," one counselor declared. "This trait could ignite catastrophes." When she reached the research facility, she found guards posted outside Elias' chamber. "What is this?" she demanded. "Temporary security," the overseer said. "He remains compliant. Just not of the same things." Yet each conversation with Elias shifted something inside her. He spoke of Earth, of storms and fragile cities rebuilt again and again, of humans who survived not because they were strongest, but because they refused to let each other fall. "My world tried to kill us many times," he said once. "We learned to adapt. And when endurance fails, we burn." "Stop this," Celira shouted. "You are provoking him." She pressed her hand against the glass. "Elias," she called, "look at me." Celira entered the chamber without waiting for permission. Elias sagged forward, exhausted. She caught him, supporting his weight. "It's enough," she said to the overseer. "You have your proof. And you are testing the wrong limits." And beyond the research station's walls, unseen by any of them, forces were already moving. Those who feared what humans could become, and those who wished to force that burning star to ignite again. The galaxy was watching, and the war was not as finished as everyone hoped. The research station changed after that day. Doors that were once open now required layered clearance. Guards doubled. Conversation stopped when Celira entered a room. Fear had begun to shape decisions faster than reason. Elias noticed it too. "They've already decided," he said quietly as he and Celira walked through a guarded corridor. "They just haven't said it out loud." That night Celira was summoned to the High Council through a secure channel. The faces that appeared before her were tense, sharp with urgency. "The situation is deteriorating," the Grand Matron said. "Multiple systems report unrest. Extremist fleets are mobilizing. Humans were dangerous before. Now they are unknowable. Commander Ward will be transferred to a secure site, far from influence." "I expected that." "That depends on why I'm taken." "Who?" The research station was not built for prolonged combat. Its defenses faltered quickly. "We have to leave," Celira said. "Now." They moved through the corridors as chaos spread. Dominion guards fought attackers wearing mismatched armor and stolen technology. Shouts echoed. Smoke filled the air. They reached a junction when a blast separated them. Celira was thrown back, her armor scraping against the floor. When she looked up, Elias was gone. "Elias," she called. No answer. Panic clawed at her. She pushed forward despite warnings, following the rising energy readings she had learned to recognize. She found him in the central containment hall, surrounded. Dominion hardliners held one side, human extremists the other. Both aimed weapons at him. "Step away," a Dominion commander barked. "Stand down," a human captain shouted. "He belongs with us." The energy surged faster than ever before. It did not explode outward. It folded inward, compressing around him like a living star under pressure. The air warped. Systems failed instantly. Celira felt it even from the doorway: heat, light, gravity bending toward a single point. "Elias," she cried. He turned toward her, and for the first time fear crossed his face. Not fear of pain. Fear of losing control. The energy broke free. Light flooded the hall, blinding and silent, not destructive but overwhelming. The attackers froze, weapons melting, shields collapsing without a single strike returned. They dropped to the ground, helpless. Elias fell to his knees. The light did not fade, it intensified. Celira ran to him, ignoring warnings, ignoring fear. She knelt and pulled him into her arms. "Listen to me," she said urgently. "You are here, you are not alone." The light softened, like a star stabilizing after a violent flare. Elias gasped, his body trembling as the surge settled into a steady glow beneath his skin. Silence returned. The attackers lay scattered, alive but defeated, staring in terror and awe. Dominion officers arrived moments later, weapons raised, then lowered in disbelief. They had seen it, all of it, not destruction, restraint. Elias collapsed fully this time. Celira held him as medics rushed in. Later, as he lay unconscious under careful watch, Celira stood before the surviving counselors who had arrived to assess the damage. "You wanted proof," she said, her voice cold. "You have it. If provoked." Because everyone now understood the truth. Humanity had not shown its greatest strength yet. It had shown its greatest restraint. And the galaxy would have to decide what to do with a species that carried living stars. Elias Ward slept for 3 days. During that time, the galaxy held its breath. The research station was repaired just enough to function. Damaged corridors were sealed. Broken ships drifted away, silent reminders of how close everything had come to collapse. The attackers who survived were taken into custody, but no one spoke of punishment yet. Fear still hung in the air, thick and heavy. Princess Celira did not leave Elias' side. She sat beside his bed, watching the steady rise and fall of his chest. The faint glow beneath his skin was gone now, as if the star inside him had chosen rest. Dominion and human medics monitored him carefully, no longer arguing, no longer testing. They simply watched. On the 4th day, Elias opened his eyes. Celira noticed immediately. "You're awake," she said softly. He blinked, focusing on her face. "I was hoping you'd still be here." The restraint. You are still recovering, Celira told him. So is the galaxy, he replied. We should heal together. Now we understand they are dangerous because they choose restraint. Choice does. The war that had burned for years ended not with a final battle but with a shared understanding. Humanity was not weak, and not cruel, it was patient. Weeks passed, peace treaties were signed, new alliances formed, restrictions were lifted. Elias was cleared of all containment orders. The research facility was converted into a joint cultural station, no longer a place of fear but of learning. Celira and Elias returned to the Dominion capital. This time there were no guards lining the halls in suspicion. There were bows. That night Celira stood once again on the balcony where everything had begun. The stars looked brighter now, less distant. Elias joined her. "You saved me," he said quietly. "You saved yourself," she replied. "I only reminded you who you were." "And who am I?" Elias volunteered, not as a weapon, as a guide. Human engineers worked alongside alien scientists. Elias stood at the center, calm as always. When the systems failed, when calculations broke down, he stepped forward, not to burn, but to endure. He anchored the final solution, holding the collapsing energy field long enough for evacuation to complete. Sensors recorded the familiar glow, but softer now, controlled. A star holding back another star. When it was done, Elias collapsed, alive. The galaxy watched and learned. Years passed. Children across many worlds grew up hearing stories of humans. Not monsters, not gods, but people who burned brightest when they refused to give up on others. Celira became queen after the Grand Matron stepped down. Her rule was remembered not for conquest but unity. At her side stood Elias Ward, not as ruler, as partner. One evening, as they watched ships depart peacefully from the capital, Celira spoke. "I once believed strength meant command," she said. "And now?" Elias asked. "Now I know," she replied, "that true strength is choosing to carry the weight so others do not have to." But as living stars,